Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. Today's first story is one that a lot of you requested yesterday, and that's the rumor that Armie Hammer is going to be playing Ant-Man. Where did this come from? Well, apparently Armie Hammer showed up on the set of Captain America 2 with Edgar Wright. And so everybody's assuming that Edgar Wright is like giving him the tour and being like, soon this will all be yours, Armie. And to that I say, what about the Lone Ranger? How could Disney do that to their own franchise? Because, of course they own both. My only guess is that perhaps they're like, the Lone Ranger isn't tracking so well. We're worried about it. We're probably not going to make another one, but we don't want to lose Armie Hammer because we like him so much. So let's throw him over into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And you know what? I like Armie Hammer too. I actually saw him in Mirror Mirror, and he was the best thing about that movie. I saw it as a rental, but I like Tarsem Singh so much, I wanted to check it out. But it's a rental. But you know what? I like Armie Hammer. I would like to see him succeed. He's a big part of why I'm excited to see the Lone Ranger. But I personally feel he's miscast as Hank Pym. If I had my way, I would like to see actually Armie Hammer star in Guardians of the Galaxy, because I think he has a great look for Peter Quill, and take Chris Pratt and put him over in Edgar Wright's Ant-Man. I think that would be a better fit. Right now, this would be the first time for Edgar Wright, if he goes with Armie Hammer for Ant-Man, working with I don't know how you would describe it, I guess classically handsome actor. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Armie Hammer, though, he does have a quirky background. He was on, I can't believe I don't remember the name of the show when I'm talking about it. It was a show on television on the WB, and Reaper. Yeah, Armie Hammer was on Reaper, and he was that's a great show, by the way. Reaper is so good. He played the devil's other son, and he was really funny and did a nice job. And that was kind of an Edgar Wright-ish show, and he excelled there. But I still think he'd be a better Peter Quill, and Chris Pratt would be a better Hank Pym. But I guess, Armie Hammer does somewhat look like the Hank Pym drawn in the comics. So, I don't know, I'm open to the idea, but we'll see. I think there are better characters that Armie Hammer could be, but maybe it'll give, maybe that's what Hank Pym needs to succeed. He needs that matinee idol look. But, so that's the big rumor. It's just a rumor, but I think that what is he doing on the set, and what is he doing with Edgar Wright? So, I think odds are that Armie Hammer is at least considering being Hank Pym. So that's the first story of the day. Second story of the day is we've been talking a lot about Fantastic Four and whether or not Michael B. Jordan should be, they should change Johnny Storm to be an African-American character. And that has really struck a nerve with a lot of you on both sides, for and against. And I think it's interesting because, yesterday I talked about the fact that, I feel that, it's diversity isn't just about color of skin. It's also all about gender, age, socioeconomic class. And one of you said, well, what about sexuality? Why don't you switch some straight characters for gay characters? And what do you know, Independence Day 2, it was just announced that Roland Emmerich feels very strongly about this. He is putting a gay character prominently in the film. So there you go. I hope that all of you who were fighting for Michael B. Jordan will also rally behind this decision. I think it's very interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see how audiences grasp this. Mainstream audiences, movie-going audiences. Comic book audiences have been dealing with this for some time now, as comic book companies have made quite an effort. I feel at first it was a gimmick, but I think they see that there's an audience for it, and also the other audience, I guess, that they weren't catering to is cool with it, and they do read the books, particularly, I guess, books like Batwoman. So this is not new to comic book readers, but it'll be interesting to see this kind of trying to add this layer of diversity to movies, how that works. I certainly, Roland Emmerich, I'm hoping will be respectful. I don't see why he would do this otherwise. And so it'll be interesting to see a gay character, fight for the human race against aliens or whatever they're fighting in Independence Day 2, and hopefully his sexuality won't be won't be what defines his character. That would be a huge leap forward for Hollywood, to have a gay character that wasn't there as comic relief, and where his being gay wasn't, or she, we don't know what the character is going to be, or that character that wasn't the main point of them being there. So it'll be interesting. Let's do it. I'm in favor of it. I like the diversity in comics. I think sometimes comics go a little far, though, in this area. And they actually only do a lot of sexuality diversity. They do very little race diversity and age diversity these days. So they're having kind of the same problem that movies are having. But it's a very interesting idea. Very curious to see how it turns out. Third story of the day. A lot of television actors heading to film because television's doing so well. but where a ton of them are heading is Disney's Cinderella. Yesterday I announced that Helena Bonham Carter would be playing the fairy godmother, and that Cate Blanchett would be the evil stepmother, but you might not have known that Lily James, who in the last season of Downton Abbey was the the cousin or whoever who liked to play around a lot, and they had to watch her because she was dating some married guy, I guess. She's Cinderella. I don't know how I feel about that choice. I feel she wasn't on Downton Abbey enough to really bring in an audience from that. But Daisy, the kitchen maid, who I really like a lot, will be one of the evil stepsisters. She just signed on. And oh, by the way, Robb Stark, from Red Wedding fame from Game of Thrones, he is Prince Charming. I love seeing TV actors move up. Kudos for them. It's very difficult to do, even with today's very well-received television shows. But I think Disney's Cinderella has a little too many TV actors. I think at a certain point you become a TV movie. Obviously, we'll all have to see a trailer for it and some stills. Maybe they can really up their game with production design and making it very filmic. But right now, very television. And so, we'll see. But, oh, by the way, also from Downton Abbey, you might have heard Hugh Bonneville, who plays the dad on Downton Abbey. Lord Grantham, he is going to potentially be the father in Paddington Bear. I think that's fantastic. I love it. And they're also, by the way, just on the side note, three and a half stories today, Hugh Laurie is being considered as the voice for Paddington. So very interesting choice. Very surprised. So those are the 3 stories for today's morning movie news. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, let me just check. Oh, yes. Sorry, I had a couple of questions I was considering, and the one that I settled on was The Legend of Korra. A lot of you liked that I brought that up yesterday when talking about How to Train Your Dragon. If you Think About the Ink, you will know that I'm a huge Legend of Korra fan. Think About the Ink is my other YouTube channel about comic books and animation. I absolutely adore The Legend of Korra. I love the whole Airbender series. I was deeply disappointed with M. Night Shyamalan, what he did with it. And at a certain point, I had hoped that well, we're talking about aging up characters. I don't know why they didn't age up the original Avatar cast for a live-action movie. That's what was my original thought on that. That's where I would have liked to have seen it go. I always thought Eva Mendes would be a great Katara. I think, it's very early in the morning for me. I'm very tired. I'm sorry if I messed up that name, but I thought she would be great in that role. But I would say, though, that when I was watching Legend of Korra, I was so impressed with the older characters and the animation and the fight scenes that I felt so seriously that they should make an animated movie and play it in theaters and keep it just as sophisticated with those kind of fight scenes. And let's see, just like Independence Day 2 is, kind of trying to push movie audiences in a different direction by having a prominent gay character that isn't the main focus of the character. I would love to try and do what they have in Asia and try and get mainstream audiences into animated movies here for adults. So I think Legend of Korra, with its really strong fan base, would be a good way to do that. So that's my thoughts now on that. And I'm, of course, very excited for The Legend of Korra Season 2, whenever it comes out. Who knows at this point. So that's today's morning movie news. Sorry that it's a little late today, and I'm sorry that I'm a little tired about that, but I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you for tuning in, and please leave your thoughts down below for things you'd like to see covered or discussed tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.